Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check the limited set for Natsu, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So as usual, we have the limited pack with the gacha. So if you wanna grab this, it's fine, but you should know that this is actually not that great. Maybe the skin it is, but the weapon and the supporter, oof. Well, let me show you what they do. So, where do I go? Over here. So for the weapon, Kamado Gami. This one is going to guarantee that shattering blows crits as long as you have particles. It consumes one particle to do so. Which is nice, yes, but you need to take into consideration that you can basically do that just by enchanting the weapons that you have, and at that point you're always going to crit. And let's say that we are on VR. What happens on VR? Yeah, you're going to be able to land that crit, which is nice, but at the same time it's kind of it has damage reduced because we're on VR. Critical is penalized, not only on the critical chance but also on the damage. So yeah, it's not the greatest thing. Even so, this is actually pretty decent for newer players, and particularly if you have this at low S level, it's going to be pretty useful to start with your account. Then, when using the skills, has a 16% chance to restore 5% of lost HP. Activates every 8 seconds. That's appreciated. I mean, Natsu doesn't really need this. Natsu already has a way to heal herself on any color, so it is kind of odd because it doesn't bring that much. They should have given this weapon critical damage or damage increase or anything at all that increases damage, because this weapon has competition on the critical department, and we're gonna see that in a moment. But let's go to the supporter right now. So for the supporter we have Natsu. Wait a moment, where is she? Here she is. New Year Inage Natsu. Every time the character collects particle orbs, damage increases by 20% for 15 seconds. So yeah, that's good. I mean, it sounds bad, but this supporter can generate particles. The thing is, it's only going to be once. You only get up to 20%, it seems, and you constantly have to pick the particles. Which, if you're playing yourself, it's fine. But for the most that use the AI, that might be not ideal. On Total War, not always actually the AI disregards the items on the floor. So yeah, it's a thing that they need to address. Then, increases damage against enemies in groggy state by 50%. That one is also pretty bad. So groggy enemies don't become groggy if they have super armor. So most of the time you're going to be fighting, or well, the important enemies are going to be those who are able to have super armor to withstand groggy. So most of the time you're not going to use this. I gotta admit, when I do Total War, due to my account and how strong I am on this account, I'm able to constantly break the super armor just with damage, without any sort of effects, and the enemy is going to be groggy most of the time, yes. But at the same time, if my character with this equip lands a hit when the enemy doesn't have super armor, my damage is going to be diminished. So, while it potentially can give 70% damage increase, the activation conditions are not great. Then, let's keep reading. Extra passive. Attacks have a 60% chance to drop a particle orb every 3 seconds. This one is actually pretty good, but it is kinda balanced. One would think that 3 seconds is nothing, but actually it is. I tried to use this with the speed increase, and I didn't drop that much particles because this prevents you from abusing the counter prevents you from abusing this to generate infinite particles. So it is just there to activate the passive actually. So it is fine-ish. It does accelerate your particle charge, thus allowing you to ultimate faster in Total War or activate your weapon skills, yes, but nothing that impressive, honestly. And then drops a 3-story lunchbox in order, dealing damage equal to 260% of attack 3 times, and makes the enemies groggy, and restores allies lost HP by 10%. The fact that this inflicts groggy is nice, but again, if the enemy has super armor, you're not going to make the enemy groggy. So, what's the point? I mean, it would have been way better if this supporter had an effect similar to not White Federaska, even more busted than White Federaska, like Su. Su breaks super armor just cause. She removes super armor, so that would have been amazing on this supporter, and it would have allowed it to be more abusable. But well, it is what it is. Now, very quickly, before we even start, let's check what I mean by Natsu, or the weapon for Natsu, having competition. So, let me show you. Here I have a build, and we're gonna use this build. So, I have my weapon 5/5 plus 13 with critical damage Magatemes, whatever Magatemes on the sub slot, etc. And this weapon 5/5 plus 13. And we're gonna use Shattering Blow. Okay, these are the supporters, and the supporters are not going to change, but we want to see the performance. And for that, I go over here. I do a couple basics because I need to do charge. Yeah, like that. Give me a little bit more charge. Nice. Perfect. Then we wait. I do a basic and look at the damage. Okay. I'm gonna do another one. Let's see, just one more. And I'm not taking the particles. I mean, I could, but we want to see the damage. Now, let's go with the other one. The SR weapon. I tried to make them the same level, but this one is plus 14. It's just one level higher, one enchantment level higher, but it has one less Magatama. They are the same Magatamas, same weapons, except this one, of course. Shattering Blow, same supporters. And now, let's see how much damage it does. So again, I charge so that I am able to use my unique buff to enhance the skill. And now, with the buff, okay, that didn't crit. Well, that's a disadvantage, I'll admit that much. But I am not equipping Suruga, which I could. Let's see. Like, only when I'm doing testing, they do not crit. Yeah, more like that. You see that the damage is higher, actually? Yeah, it's not always critting, but I can just substitute one of the supporters for Suruga, which would make this crit every single time and do something like that. So, yeah, that's the issue with the weapon. Similar to Ingrid, her limited set weapon is competing with an SR and the SR is winning the competition. Okay, even so. So, I'll explain the theory very quickly behind what you can do with the supporter and what it's supposed to do. But I'll tell you that the supporter is meant to be used for high-end players. This is for high-end players. If you are not on the top on the ladder for Total War, maybe you're not gonna see that much value for New Year in Aganatsu. Why? Because this, as I mentioned, is going to generate particles so that your characters can ultimate faster so that they can deal more damage. This is also going to heal a little bit. The healing, honestly, is not that impressive. If you're already at that level, you should have enough sustain and your strategy shouldn't be relying on having a sliver of HP. So that doesn't make that much sense. The particle effect, the damage increase on particle, it is not great because, as I mentioned, you're not always going to pick the particles because the AI is not that smart on Total War. And again, the groggy effect. Yes, if you demolish the Total War by dealing a ton of damage, you're going to break that super armor super quickly and you're going to have this damage increase most of the time. And it's a 70% damage increase if we mix both of these, which is not negligible. But it's preferable to go with consistency. And besides, well, maybe you make the enemy groggy by breaking the super armor, but the skill on normal content, the Shattering Blow, I think it's the name. Let's see. Shattering Blow, yeah. This one also inflicts groggy. The thing that I don't know if the target gets groggy and then we inflict damage, thus increasing both blows. Or the first blow makes the enemy groggy and only the second blow has the extra damage dealt by the supporter. That's something that I gotta test. If you can help me out with that, let me know in the comments which is the order. But, well, anyways, let me show you what we can do with this. So, you can use this. Yes, sure, the supporter is usable, but you're gonna need some pretty aggressive strategies. So, what do we have here? We're gonna use the weapon, since there's people who want to create in VR. I used to, but now I don't, now that I know. With anti-machine Magatamas, with whatever Magatamas on the subslot, with whatever weapon, 5 out of 5, plus 13, both of them. Power Release to increase damage, with Shattering Blink to further increase damage, and Shattering Blow to deal massive damage. Then, Inagenatsu, yeah, sure, with Misaki and Francis. This Francis you can change. You can put like anything at all, like Barretta, Vacation Barretta. You can put... I do not recommend Nano because it's only for crit melee, and not always are you going to crit. Though we have the guaranteed hit on the main damaging skill, that's not all your damage, so keep that in mind. You can equip Saika, you can equip Ichika, Kotone, so there are options for sure. Now, stats of the customs, stat training, and let's go with this one. So, just by seeing this, you can already deduct what I'm going to do. So, yes, I'm going to be using Guide of the Starry Sea, super important on this against LWS squad, with Wind Anti-Machine Magatamas, whatever Magatamas on the subslot, whatever weapon on the subslot, 5 out of 5, plus 15 and plus 14, with Reflective Raid, Acid Rain, and Geyser Burst, equipped with White Feather Asuka, so that we break the super armor and the enemy is constantly groggy, so that I can get that damage increase. Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, it's good and it can be abused, but the requirements are a little bit high, you know? Then we have Yukina and Suzune to increase damage. Stats of the customs, stats of the stat training, and, well, Phantasma. Why is Phantasma here? Because she's going to be another White Feather Asuka user. Only one copy, but nonetheless, we want to break that super armor. So, we have Golden Sphere, which you can change for whatever weapon, it doesn't really matter. Anti-Machine Magatamas. Whatever Magatamas on the sub-slot, whatever weapon on the sub-slot, 5 out of 5 plus 15. Then, Clinging Nightmare. Super important to equip Clinging Nightmare so that we break the super armor with that White Feather Asuka. And having 2 green is extremely important so that you increase the duration. Then, the duration? Yeah, the duration. We have Twister Dance to increase damage and Slash Horror to increase the speed. But you can change slash Horror for whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Then, for supporters, yeah, that White Feather Asuka with Misaki and Saika. Again, you can change Saika for any supporter that you have to increase damage. Let's see, like, honestly, there's not that many options for range. You can go with this even, just that 20% damage increase is fine. So, anyways, stats of the customs, stats of the stat training, and let's do a run so that you can see that this is kind of wacky. I mean, it is consistent. I don't have any kind of healing, by the way. Well, I have the active of the Natsu supporter, but that's not exactly reliable. It's 10%. And I do this, and I deal damage. Come on, break the super armor. Like that. Oops, no. And we make the enemy groggy. Yeah, the cooldown reduction isn't helping me, but, well, it is what it is. Yeah, unfortunately, due to the consumption of particles, you're not going to be able to launch your ultimate with Natsu. I mean, she can, sure, but if you want to abuse your skills, she kind of is going to not be able to do so. But the other ones, if they pick the particles, they might. So, yeah. Perhaps Natsu isn't actually the best choice for this specific strategy because of her melee approach. So I'm gonna change her just so that we can test it with another character. Because honestly, I have been dwelling on how to use this on other characters, but I'm not finding any answers. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas of who to use this supporter with, on what combo. Because as a particle vending machine, this supporter is not ideal actually. So we're going to make the enemy, oh well, yeah, actually maybe Astaroth, just cause. I mean, why Astaroth in particular? Mobility, that's why. Because you're going to be able to position yourself wherever you want, and you're going to be taking those particles. Now I just equip whatever over here. 1, 2, 3, no, 3 and 4. There we go. Nice. So obviously this would be way better, but the idea is to use that in Naginatsu. So we go with Natsu along with, let's see, I'm on green, I'm demon. Oh yeah, I'm range, so I'm gonna use this one, and Up, up, up. Let's see. My god, which one can I equip that gives me more damage? This one is for suppress. Yeah, suppress. Oh wait, did my character have that? No, they are on red. Ah, but she was on. No. Nobody had that. Okay, perfect. So now Serpent Blade, Satellite Fur. No. Do we have something better? Make the enemy groggy on a counter. Thank you. No, thank you. Like, honestly, that's the issue. Yeah, that's the issue. Well, I'll change it for this and let's go. Let's see how good it works with Astaroth by just, well, breaking the super armor of the enemies and taking the particles. Let's see. Okay. Particles, yeah. So that's probably the advantage with Astaroth, that she's going to be able to just take the particles way easier than any other character, thus keeping the buff active. But even so, the damage increase is not consistent due to the fact that the enemy is not always groggy. So you see why I'm not too fond of this supporter. I mean, the numbers are usable, I guess. The activation condition, that's another matter. Well, let's hope that this raises in usage. Ooh, and she died because this supporter is not going to enhance the supporter capabilities of the character dramatically like others. Because yes, it has healing, but a little bit of healing. Just that. And there we go. Nice. Okay. Done, I guess. Well, let's see this on other kind of content. Let's see it on Tower. Because this is VR, but we also have to check it on solo content. So, who is it gonna be? Natsu. That's right, Natsu, Naginatsu. And we put this over here. And we're gonna see how strong she is. I mean, she's strong. She's honestly pretty strong. The thing is that, well, I'll keep it for the end. Anyways, she could deal more damage with the SR weapon. What do I have for skills? Yes, Restoration Smoke. Oh, on this one I use Restoration Smoke. And I also use this one. This is way better for farming scenarios or dealing with multiple enemies. The Thunderclap. So keep that in mind. Now that I am facing multiple enemies, this is the better option. Because the other skill is single target, even though it gives a higher damage increase. It is not ideal if you are going to face waves of enemies by yourself. Yeah, I like that. Perfect. Even though the main skill, Sheltering Blow, can deal with a good amount of enemies when properly placed, it is not... you don't want to have only one skill with decent AoE. Yeah, 2 hit. Nice. Yeah, I like Inagenatsu, but, well, I think they could have done better with this limited set overall. Nice. Deal with this and... Come on. Oh, there. 1, 2. Why am I not activating my skill? I'm getting interrupted too much. Oh! And when I activate it, it's on the wrong target. Okay, now I'm just going to do this and... Yeah, 2 hit. As I mentioned, Natsu is pretty strong with the critical build. But it is kind of difficult. So, what's the thing with the character, the supporter, the weapon, everything? Natsu herself is a sub-attacker with supportive capabilities. That's her role in the game. And they try to enhance this, but they didn't do a pretty good job about it. And besides, this particular skill is her most damaging skill. So they should have made this set so that she was offensive, purely offensive with this weapon and supporter, rather than enhance her existing role as a sub-attacker with supportive capabilities. She can heal the party, apply fortitude. She can do many things. Like these 2 skills are pretty useful. Not to mention drifting illusion, which is also pretty good. These are the ones that give her the supportive capability. Everything else is going to be pretty offensive for the most part. So yeah, so that's why they wanted to do this, but it didn't really work out in my opinion, because this, I mean, an SR weapon performs better than this. The supporter has a terrible activation condition on Groggy, which, as I mentioned, yeah, maybe the top players of Total War are going to take advantage of this, but I don't think it's gonna be like one of the most busted supporters for that mode. Let's see, what else? Yeah. What other characters could use the supporter? Well, other offensive, other sub-attackers with supportive capabilities that work on green. For example, let's say Rinko. Rinko could be a good choice because she is able to... Oh, wait a moment. I'll use this tab instead so that I can check the skills. So Ringo could be a good option because of Wind Slicer, because the green effect is extremely aggressive, and due to the amount of multi-hits, she is very quick at shredding the super armor and making the enemy groggy. So that's one thing. We also have Murasaki, not the greatest choice because of her speed. We want someone with good multi-hits when they are attacking or with good speed. So Murasaki, though it's a good offensive supporter, she isn't ideal for this supporter. Then Kurenai can be used for sure. She is offensive, and thanks to the utility on Stormfang, it is pretty viable to use her. And also she has Tornado Render to make the enemy stun. Which I don't know the difference between Groggy and stuns because they have the same animation. I think only the duration is different. Kirara is another option. Though she's slow-ish, she has a ton of good utility by debuffing the enemy on green. And as I mentioned, being super fast isn't actually that good because there's a limit to how many time you have to wait. There's a limit to how many particles you can get in a certain amount of time. So yeah, you can use Kirara. You can use, of course, Tokiko. I mean, it's Tokiko. Tokiko is one of the best supporters in the game. We also have Felicia. If you want healing and slows, she's a viable option by using Vampiric Sun along with Slaying Spree. And Slaying Spree has a ton of multi-hits, so That's also good. Saika you could use with the supporter, but similar to Natsu. She's more offensive, but she has utility thanks to takeover, and she can heal herself with Moon Assault, which is pretty nice. And there's also, let me check. Yeah, this one makes the enemy groggy, just so that you know. Gale Kick. And other than that, we have Phantasma, which, I mean, you could do this with Phantasma, but I think that she has better things to do with her supporter slots. So, yeah. For the first time, I think that I don't want to recommend this one, though I like Natsu, and I appreciate that they took the time to do the limited set. I think that this isn't just cohesive enough. It's not even like it doesn't need to be busted, but activation on Groggy, please no. Particle charge collection when we are having already problems with the AI? No. 10% HP recovery just cause. Well, let me know in the comments what you think, guys. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is busted. Maybe you can use it in certain combos that I'm just missing right now. Because I tested this with other characters. I tried with super fast Zora to generate a bunch of particles, but well, the time limit on the description doesn't allow you to do that. So yeah. Well, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.